question is, we've all served on council. Doug, you're ending your first term.
Right.
You've been on for 4 years. John, you were on for
12.
12, and this is my 10th year. So, it's hard to do this and be humble, but everyone knows, you don't do this individually in most cases.
Right.
So, so I'm gonna get this started, but I'm not gonna talk about me. I'm gonna talk about Doug. Doug's. I've worked with Doug for 4 years now, and if there was a time clock, if you punched a time clock when you came to work as a council person, no one would have put in more hours than Doug in these last 4 years. And it's not the kind of self-aggrandizing, hey, look at me, look what I'm doing kind of thing. None of that. When any task needed to be done, Doug's there. You want someone that needs to step in as a inspector for a while, that's fine.
And I had no idea until we went around and we saw the grass that he was volunteering his time as being the ordinance officer, and that's impressive. I mean, that's the kind of thing that everyone doesn't hear about.
No, and the amount of time, I'm serious, it was just about a full-time job that he was given to this borough essentially for free. And he did it because it was something that needed to be done. He'd never tell anyone about it because that's just not how he is, which is admirable. Unfortunately, in this age of self-promotion, it's almost not as much what you do as what the world knows about what you do. So I think Pitcairn has benefited greatly from Doug's 4 years on council, and I think they would benefit greatly from him having another term.
Thank you.
Absolutely.
I agree with that too. And
John, and we're right near this gymnasium, so I know that means something to you.
Right, it does. And I ran a recreation program when I was on council, and I ran it over there on Thursday nights. We had 60 kids over there sometimes, and I was getting them off the streets, and it was a good time for everybody, including myself. And I also, when I was on council, started the recreation program at the park building, which has deteriorated. It's deteriorated down to giving them the lunches and throwing a ball out. And I've watched it. And I want that to be picked up again and be a viable program, and have a college person who is experienced at being a recreation or a physical education person running that. And you'd be surprised. You can find them.
Sure.
And I found them. And if you make that program viable, you will get kids out of the houses and down there, and stay down there, have their lunches, and be constructive. Not just playing games, but instructional type of things too. And these are the kind of things that I'm experienced at. You guys are teaching me a lot of other things that I need to know. But when it comes to getting the kids off the street, I'm good at that. I'm good at that.
Now, in the ideal world, not only would we have recreational programs, but we would, I think, integrate some of the folks we have in town right now who are doing mentoring programs of their own. We have had an influx of pastors involved, multiple denominations, with working with the kids and families in Pitcairn. So they're already working with mentor programs of their own. Obviously, we as a government entity have got to be careful about how we work with religious entities. Everyone's aware of that, but our job should be to facilitate. As we've done in the past, our job should be find a way to get those folks to be as productive as they can be, to reach as many people as they can. Every kid that you've got in a program or in the gym with you is a kid who's not wandering around out here looking for trouble.
Absolutely.
Or just to entertain himself. So
Absolutely. Absolutely.
And of course, we're in front of the Propel School. So again, nobody does anything by themselves, but when we got word that Gateway was closing our school, it sent a shockwave through the town, as you would expect. I think there's a plaque up here that says this thing was built in 1894. Is that correct? So it's been here for 120 years, and out of the blue, poor leadership in the form of a since gone superintendent decided to close this school, and Pitcairn fought a valiant, noble, and
Yes, we did. Yeah.
respectable fight to keep it open, and unfortunately the deck was stacked. But even as this school was being closed, people were working to come up with the next step. We had direction from above. One of the school board members thought it would make a great family dollar store, which was terrifying to me.
Oh yeah.
Well, one of our members of the board of our council, who was an old leader, said they didn't want to have anything to do with owning or controlling this school for fear that we would be stuck with the bills maintaining it. We said, well, if we don't own it, if we don't control it, we don't get to determine who or what's in it.
Right.
So while all this was going on, a number of us were having conversations with charter schools in the area. I have a friend who teaches at a science charter school down in Edgewood. Other folks knew the people from Propel. So very quickly we mobilized. And I think what happened speaks for itself.
Absolutely.
This school was empty for 1 year. We mounted such a well-integrated campaign, both to fight the closing of the school, but then to get the charter school, the Gateway School Board approved Propel's charter application, which I believe is unprecedented. Every other time that a charter school is applied, the school board rejects it, and then the charter school has to apply to the state, and
Right.
a school's typically closed for a year or even two. This one was not only closed for just a year, but Propel moved in almost immediately to physically upgrade the school.
Right.
So Pitcairn owns the school, Propel pays to maintain it. They essentially leased it from us, and at the end of 10 years, they'll renew that lease. And instead of a rundown hulk here with bricks through the window, we have a centerpiece in town.
Exactly.
And that's what leadership that's inclusive can do.
Absolutely. It's true.
And again, I've got no axe to grind with Gateway. My job is not, as a Pitcairn councilman, to be a school board reformer
Right.
or a school board member. My job is to do what's best for Pitcairn. If we had had a choice between maintaining our relationship with Gateway or Propel, that would have been a different matter and one worth debating and
Right.
discussing.
Right.
That wasn't the choice we were given.
No,
we were given this or basically nothing.
Right.
So I believe that we made the best of this situation by far. And if we did this here, I think we can do it, with the park building on Broadway, with
apartment buildings. Exactly.
This
I agree.
isn't the end. This is just an example of what we can do, and there's no reason it can't be what we actually manage to accomplish.
Yeah, when you're narrow-minded and set in your ways, you just don't see the big picture. And with some of these apartment buildings, the same thing could be done with them than it was done with this school. And I hope that we are able to do that if we're elected.